Have you ever felt that icy grip of fear? That feeling when your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty, and your mind just goes blank. It's a powerful emotion, one that can feel completely overwhelming. But have you ever stopped to wonder what's actually happening inside your brain when you're scared? And more importantly, how much of our lives are secretly being controlled by this primal instinct? Today, we're diving deep into the science of fear, how it hijacks our minds, and what we can do to take back the controls. Let's start with a quick trip inside your brain. Deep within the temporal lobes, you have a tiny, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system. When you encounter something potentially dangerous, a loud noise in the dark, a car swerving towards you, or even just the thought of public speaking, your senses send an alert to the amygdala. This little guy doesn't wait around for a full analysis. It acts fast, triggering an immediate, full-body response. This is the famous fight-or-flight response. The amygdala signals the hypothalamus, which then kicks your adrenal glands into high gear, flooding your body with hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate skyrockets to pump more blood to your muscles. Your breathing becomes rapid to get more oxygen. Your pupils dilate to let in more light. Your body is basically preparing for a life or death battle or a sprint to safety. This system is a brilliant evolutionary tool. It's the reason our ancestors survived encounters with saber-toothed tigers. But here's the problem. In our modern world, we're not usually facing saber-toothed tigers. Our amygdala, however, doesn't always know the difference between a real physical threat and a psychological one. The stress of a looming work deadline, a difficult conversation, or social anxiety can trigger the very same fight-or-flight response. Your body gets primed for a battle that never comes. When this happens repeatedly, it's called chronic stress, and it can have serious long-term effects on your health. So, fear isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a physiological process that can physically change our body, but it also has a profound impact on our minds and our when the amygdala is in charge, it essentially puts a damper on your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain right behind your forehead, responsible for rational thought, logic, and long-term planning. It's the CEO of your brain, but when the alarm bells of fear are ringing, the CEO is told to stand down. Your brain prioritizes immediate survival over careful consideration. This is why it's so hard to think clearly when you're terrified or extremely anxious. You might make impulsive decisions, or you might freeze completely, unable to decide at all. This mental hijacking explains a lot about human behavior. Think about phobias. A person with arachnophobia knows logically that a tiny spider in the corner of a room is probably harmless. Their prefrontal cortex understands this, but their amygdala sees the spider and screams danger, bypassing all logic and sending them into a panic. The fear response is so strong that it overrides rational thought. This isn't just about extreme phobias, though. Fear subtly shapes our daily choices in ways we might not even realize. It's the voice of, what if that whispers in your ear? What if I apply for that job and get rejected? What if I ask that person out and they say no? What if I start my own business and it fails? This is fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. And it can be this kind of fear keeps us locked in our comfort zones. Our comfort zone feels safe and predictable. It's a place where we know the rules and we're unlikely to face any scary surprises. But it's also a place where growth rarely happens. Every new skill we learn, every new relationship we build, every big achievement we unlock requires stepping outside that zone. But fear acts like a gatekeeper, telling us it's too risky to venture out. Over time, consistently giving into this fear creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You avoid applying for the job, so you stay in a role you don't love. You don't ask the person out, so you remain single. You don't start the business, so your great idea never sees the light of day. Fear promises safety, but what it often delivers is regret. It convinces us to trade our potential for the illusion of security. So, how do we break free from this cycle? How do we stop fear from being the puppet master of our lives? It's not about becoming fearless. Fear, as we've seen, is a vital survival mechanism. The goal isn't to eliminate it, but to change our relationship with it. It's about learning to feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then act anyway. The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to your own patterns. When you feel that hesitation, that resistance, that anxiety bubbling up, ask yourself, What am I really afraid of here? Is this a genuine threat to my survival? Or is this my amygdala overreacting to a psychological challenge? Simply naming the fear can rob it of some of its power. You're moving it from the reactive, emotional part of your brain to the logical, conscious part. Once you're aware of the fear, the next step is gradual exposure. This is the core principle behind therapies for anxiety and phobias. And it works for everyday fears too. If you're afraid of public speaking, don't start by booking a TED Talk. Start small. Maybe practice your speech in front of a mirror, then in front of a trusted friend, then a small group of supportive colleagues. Each time you face the fear and survive, you're sending a new message to your brain. See? That wasn't so bad. We're okay. You're essentially retraining your amygdala, teaching it that this situation is not a life or death threat. Another powerful tool is to shift your focus from the fear to the purpose. Why do you want to do this scary thing in the first place? What's the potential reward on the other side? If you're afraid of starting a new fitness routine, focus on how great you'll feel, how much more energy you'll have. If you're nervous about a job interview, focus on the exciting opportunity it could lead to. When your why is strong enough, it can give you the courage to push through. Then how? A compelling purpose can be a powerful antidote to the paralysis of fear. And finally, practice mindfulness and breathing techniques. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly effective. When you feel the physical symptoms of fear, the racing heart, the shallow breath, you can consciously intervene. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale for 6. This simple act activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest system. It's the natural counterbalance to fight or flight. It tells your body and your brain that the danger is past and it is safe to calm down. This gives your prefrontal cortex, your rational mind, a chance to come back online and assess the situation more clearly. Remember, the goal isn't a life without fear. A life without fear would be a life without courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. It's about understanding that your brain is trying to protect you, thanking it for the warning, and then gently telling it that you've got this. By understanding the mechanics of how fear controls your mind, you gain the power to influence that process. You can learn to be the pilot of your own life, not just a passenger being driven by your primal instincts. Every time you choose to take a small step into the unknown, you are rewiring your brain. You're building a new neural pathway. Want that size? I can handle this. It's a muscle, and the more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. So, what's one small, scary thing you can do today? Thanks so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on psychology and self-improvement. Let me know in the comments what your biggest fear is and how you work to overcome it. See you in the next one.